इंडस्ट्री आज का टॉपिक होगा। टॉपिक तुम लिख लेना, इंडस्ट्री एंड इंडस्ट्रियल पॉलिसीज। इंडस्ट्री एंड इंडस्ट्रियल पॉलिसीज आ जाइए। ठीक है, इसमें देखिए इंडस्ट्री पे बात हम करने जा रहे हैं कि क्या होती है इंडस्ट्री। आज हम किस पर बात करने जा रहे हैं? इंडस्ट्री पे। और इंडस्ट्री क्या होती है उस पर हम बात कर लेते हैं। इंडस्ट्री, ये देखो क्या है। इंडस्ट्री रिफर टू एन इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटी, इकोनॉमिक एक्टिविटी concerned with the processing of raw material, processing of raw material and manufacture of goods, material and manufacture of goods, and manufacture of goods in factories concerned with the processing of raw material, processing of raw material and manufacture of goods in factories, and manufacture of goods in factories। हो गया? आगे लिखो। Industries are often classified based on their principle and product, steel industry, automobile industry, textile industry,
their products,
steel industry, automobile industry and textile industry, अब लिखो अगला पॉइंट। द सेकेंडरी सेक्टर कवर activities in which natural product are changed into other form, लिखा other form, through ways of manufacturing, ways of manufacturing that be associated with industrial activity, since this sector gradually became associated with the different kind of industry, it also called the industrial sector, हो गया?
yes,
अब लिखना है इंडस्ट्रियल डेवलपमेंट इन इंडिया। अगला कंटेंट, इंडस्ट्रियल डेवलपमेंट इन इंडिया, इंडस्ट्रियल डेवलपमेंट इन इंडिया, ये लिखना। इसमें लिखो इंडस्ट्रियल डेवलपमेंट इज इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर इकोनॉमिक डेवलपमेंट, industrial development is important for economic development and economic prosperity of a country, for enhancing the national income, for enhancing the national income of the country, industrialization play a major role. Industrialization play a major role. Play a major role. अगला point. The Indian government has been trying to promote. The Indian government has been trying to promote rapid industrial growth, rapid industrial growth since independence, since independence. As a result of various effort, as a result of various effort, the industrial sector in India, the industrial sector in India has grown in multifarious dimension, grown in dimension, multifarious dimension, multifarious dimension. हो गया? अगला point. As industry provide employment, as industry provide employment, as industry provide employment, which is more stable than the, which is more stable than the employment in agriculture, agriculture, employment in agriculture, along with modernization and overall, along with modernization and overall, modernization and overall prosperity, overall prosperity, overall prosperity. Due to this 5-year plan, due to this 5-year plan, due to this 5-year plan, emphasis a lot on industrial development, emphasis a lot of इंडस्ट्रियल डेवलपमेंट. हो गया? अब आगे लिखो इंडस्ट्रियल सेक्टर इन इंडिया. इंडस्ट्रियल सेक्टर इन इंडिया. इंडिया का इंडस्ट्रियल सेक्टर कितने भाग में बटा हुआ है बताओ? हाँ, 3 कौन कौन सेक्टर? पब्लिक सेक्टर, प्राइवेट सेक्टर, ज्वाइंट सेक्टर, 3 पार्ट में. पब्लिक सेक्टर, पब्लिक सेक्टर, दूसरा प्राइवेट सेक्टर एंड ज्वाइंट सेक्टर, और तीसरा हमारा होगा ज्वाइंट सेक्टर. ये ज्वाइंट सेक्टर, 3 सेक्टर, पब्लिक, प्राइवेट एंड ज्वाइंट. ठीक है, इसमें लिखो जरा ऑल द एंटरप्राइज, लिखो ऑल द एंटरप्राइजेज, ऑल द एंटरप्राइजेज अंडर पब्लिक सेक्टर, enterprises under public sector are government owned. Public sector are government owned. Government owned. Second point. Some of the enterprise under public sector. Some of the enterprise under public sector. Under public sector are postal railway, are postal railway, all postal railway, telegram, These enterprises are under these enterprises are under different ministries, different ministries, different ministries. अगला लिखो नेक्स्ट. In addition, these are also known. In addition, there are also known departmental enterprises. Departmental enterprises. Departmental enterprises whose establishment are in the form of public issue, are in the form of public issue under act passed by parliament, under act passed by
Under
act ACT, under act passed by parliament, passed by parliament, under act passed by parliament. अगला point. The purpose of public sector is not only the purpose of public sector is not only public sector is not only to make profit, to make profit, but also public welfare activities, but also public welfare activities, public welfare activities. अब आता है प्राइवेट सेक्टर. प्राइवेट सेक्टर इसमें लिखो enterprises coming under the enterprises coming under the private sector has a private ownership, sector has a private ownership, has a private ownership. Next, after independence India, after independence India adopted the mixed economy policy, adopted the mixed economy policy under which private sector plays an important role, an important role in the industrial policy of 1956, in the industrial policy of 1956, private sector is placed under major industries, under
sector
placed under major industries, major industries. Next, the private sector in India is very wide. India is very wide. India is very wide. Country's most important economic activities. Country's most important economic activities. Agriculture is completely under private sector. Agriculture is completely under private sector. Private sector. Tata Iron and Steel Company Limited. Tata Iron and Steel Company Limited. TISCO. 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 TISCO and Reliance companies are India's. And Reliance companies are India's major privately owned enterprises. Major privately owned enterprises. Owned enterprises. अब आता है हमारा जॉइंट सेक्टर. ज्वाइंट सेक्टर, ज्वाइंट सेक्टर, joint sector is type of partnership, joint sector is type of partnership, type of partnership between private and public sector, between private and public sector, private and public sector, private and public, अगला पॉइंट, the control management and ownership, the control management and ownership of joint sector enterprises, of joint sector enterprises distributed between the government, distributed between the government and private, government and private, अगला पॉइंट, in 1969 under the leadership, 1969 under the leadership of सबिमल दत्त, of सबिमल दत्त, सबिमल दत्त, the industrial licensing policy, the industrial licensing policy, inquiring committees, inquiring committee or Dutt committee, committee or Dutt committee or Dutt committee was established to follow up, was established to follow up, established to follow up report of monopolies, report of monopolies, inquiry commission and Hazari committee, inquiry commission and Hazari committee, Hazari committee, हो गया। अब लिखना है इंडस्ट्रियल पॉलिसी, industrial policy for the balanced industrial growth, industrial policy is essential, department for information industry, department for promotion of industry and internal trade, and internal trade, DPIIT, DPIIT, next, is reasonable for the formulation, is reasonable for the formulation of industrial policy, of industrial policy, industrial policy, अगला point, government action influence the ownership, government action influence the ownership and structure of industry, and structure of industry, structure of industry and its performance in the firm, and its performance in the firm, performance in the firm, paying subsidies, paying subsidies, providing finance, providing finance, imposing regulation, imposing regulation, imposing regulation. It includes procedure principle, it includes procedure principle, philosophy of given economy, given economy, policies, rule and regulation, policies, rules and regulation, incentives, incentive and punishment, the tariff policy, the labor policy, government's attitude towards foreign capital, attitude towards foreign capital, हो गया। अगला पॉइंट, द मेन ऑब्जेक्टिव ऑफ इंडस्ट्रियल पॉलिसी, the main objective of industrial policy of the government in India are पहला पॉइंट, to maintain a sustained growth in productivity, दूसरा पॉइंट, ग्रोथ इन प्रोडक्टिविटी, दूसरा पॉइंट, टू एनहेंस गेनफुल एम्प्लॉयमेंट, नेक्स्ट, to achieve optional utilization, of human resource, next होगा to attain international competitiveness, to transform India into a major partner, and player in the global arena, हो गया।
Yes.
अब आगे लिखना है इंडस्ट्रियल पॉलिसी इन इंडिया सिंस इंडिपेंडेंस, इंडस्ट्रियल पॉलिसी इन इंडिया सिंस इंडिपेंडेंस, ठीक है। पहला पॉइंट देखो, ये फर्स्ट इंडस्ट्रियल पॉलिसी रेजोल्यूशन 1948, इसमें देखो फर्स्ट इंडस्ट्रियल पॉलिसी वाज अनाउंस इन अप्रैल 1948 by then industrial minister late श्यामा प्रसाद मुखर्जी, अगला पॉइंट लिखो जरा, it defined the broad contour of the policy, broad contours, CONTOURS, contours of policy, delineating the role of the nation in industrial development, both as an entrepreneur and authority, full stop. It made clear that India is going to have a mixed economic model. India is going to have a mixed economic model. Mixed economic model. हो गया? अगला पॉइंट, द इंडस्ट्रीज डेवलपमेंट एक्ट वाज पास्ड. डेवलपमेंट एक्ट वाज पास्ड in 1951. Passed in 1951 to implemented the industrial policy. To implemented the industrial policy. Resolution IPR. Resolution IPR 1948. IPR 1948. हो गया? अगला लिखो. It classified industries into 4 broad area. It classified industries. It classified industries 4 broad area. Broad area. 4 broad area. पहला क्या होगा? स्ट्रेटेजिक इंडस्ट्री. फर्स्ट पॉइंट लिखो. पहला है स्ट्रेटेजिक इंडस्ट्री. दूसरा होगा बेसिक की इंडस्ट्रीज. सेकंड होगा बेसिक की इंडस्ट्रीज. थर्ड होगा इंपॉर्टेंट इंडस्ट्रीज. थर्ड है इंपॉर्टेंट इंडस्ट्रीज. और फोर्थ होगा अदर इंडस्ट्रीज. फोर्थ है अदर इंडस्ट्रीज. फोर्थ क्या हो जाएगा? अदर. अब एक का डिटेल चलो स्ट्रेटेजिक में. इट इंक्लूडेड 3 इंडस्ट्रीज इन व्हिच सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट. इंक्लूडेड 3 इंडस्ट्रीज इन व्हिच सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट had a monopoly. Had a monopoly. These included arms and ammunition. Arms and ammunition. Atomic energy and rail transport. Atomic energy and rail transport. Energy and rail transport. एनर्जी एंड रेल ट्रांसपोर्ट. अब लिखो बेसिक की इंडस्ट्रीज. बेसिक की इंडस्ट्रीज. बेसिक की इंडस्ट्रीज. पब्लिक कम प्राइवेट सेक्टर 6 इंडस्ट्रीज. पब्लिक कम प्राइवेट सेक्टर 6 इंडस्ट्रीज. coal, iron and steel. Coal, iron and steel. Aircraft manufacturing. Aircraft manufacturing. Ship and building. Manufacture of telephone. Manufacture of telephone. Telegraph. And wireless apparatus. And wireless apparatus. And mineral oil. And mineral oil were designated. Were designated as key industry or basic industry. Or basic industry. अब लिखो इंपॉर्टेंट इंडस्ट्रीज. इंपॉर्टेंट इंडस्ट्रीज. सेंट्रल लिखो इंपॉर्टेंट इंडस्ट्रीज में कंट्रोल प्राइवेट सेक्टर. कंट्रोल प्राइवेट सेक्टर. इट इंक्लूडेड 18 इंडस्ट्रीज इंक्लूडिंग हैवी केमिकल, sugar, cotton and textile, and woolen industry, cement, paper and salt, machine and tool, fertilizer and rubber, एयर एंड ट्रांसपोर्ट, रबर, एयर एंड ट्रांसपोर्ट, ये सारी आएंगी। फिर आएगा अदर इंडस्ट्रीज, अदर इंडस्ट्रीज में आ जाओ। यही लास्ट होगा आज का टॉपिक, फिर आगे कराएंगे। प्राइवेट एंड कोऑपरेटिव सेक्टर, प्राइवेट एंड कोऑपरेटिव सेक्टर, all other industries which were not included in the above mentions three categories were left open for the private sector, were left open for the private sector। कल इस पर बात करेंगे, फिर आगे बढ़ेंगे। और अभी इंडस्ट्री चलेगा एक दो क्लास।